feel very lucky to have been part of that whole operation. I mean, we had great dreams of racing with chaparrals and having an American team to compete in the Can-Am, and it just never worked out. And, but again, I mean, it was one thing to run out of money, but it was quite another thing not to have a ride. And so we pulled out of the Can-Am and went for Formula 5000, which suited us very well. It was a much less expensive undertaking, and frankly, the Formula car was a great car to drive. It really was. Skip had that
March.
well, it had a fascinating front end, a sort of T-tray nose that March had worked out on their own. That was quite radically different. Did you ever notice it? I mean, were there times when it was really good and times when it was not so
Not
good?
so good.
Yeah. Oh, anything else?
Any other questions?
I got
Dick has one.
Let me have the microphone a second. I have something to add here for Sam.
How terrific.
I drove about 3 hours this morning to get here, and on my way down, I said, you know, I should take some of the credit for the success Sam had other than racing. For example, I suggested, probably the first one, that he should get into broadcasting. Because after racing for us for 2 races, I think I suggested to Sam that maybe he should look for another profession. But anyway, Sam used to carry in the pits a toy microphone. And he would hold it, and he would do a make-believe broadcast, and he did a really good job. And I didn't mind it, except every 15 minutes he would want to interview me. And in a 24-hour race, that can get boring and aggravating. So Sam now knows why he drove more than his co-drivers, so I could get him out of the pits. But I also suggested to him that he might get into architecture, because he would always have this little drawing pad, and he would draw houses or buildings, and he did a really good job. And I said to Sam, that you might want to try this. Well, I didn't mind it, except when Sam was drawing, if the car came into the pits, Sam wouldn't get in the car until he finished the drawing. Now, that delay is pretty important. We would have run and probably won more races if it wasn't for you doing that and delaying.
We wouldn't have the buildings.
Yeah, well, and then his painting capability, he would also draw on that pad girls. And what he would do is, at Le Mans, he would go out behind the pits and solicit French girls to come into the little trailer that we had, and he would get them to strip down so that he could draw them nude.
He's still doing it to this day.
And I saw them afterwards, and I said, Sam, you might want to do that also. But I did have some flack from the French organizers over there. They didn't mind what Sam was doing. What they minded was that he wouldn't let them in to watch. And I agreed with him, because Sam wouldn't let me in either. So I have to take credit for getting you into all of those 3 disciplines afterwards. So you're a good man, Sam.
Just make sure that's on. There you go.
It wasn't on. I had turned it off. You were talking
Want it
into a
on or
dead
off?
mic.
On, okay, there
You
you
were
go.
talking into a dead mic. Sorry. You were talking into a dead mic.
Years with,
I was talking loud enough, though.
with
Not the first time.
organizing things. At one point, we were down at Daytona and had 5 cars entered, and Dick was the only person who knew anything what was going on. But the Le Mans experiences were amazing. I'm often asked, what's the fastest you ever went? And the answer is, on the second day of qualifying, I went 2:48. That's just extraordinary. And yet I was passed on the straightaway by a 917 with Pedro Rodriguez at the wheel. And Pedro was steering like this, like crazy. And I think that the front end had so much lift. The steering wheels were like rudders on a plane. It was an extraordinary thing. He was pale as can be as he went by me, crept by me a little bit, but we both had the this advantage of a slipstream moment that goes on, which of course is 3 miles long, so it would go very well. But I've often also asked what my favorite car was, and it was the 512M. Much better than the S. There were some modifications that made between here. The cars remain basically the same, but there's subtle difference made all the difference. And it made it into the most delightful car to drive. And the reason for that is it had a balance between horsepower, braking, and cornering. They were all about the same level of speed or excellence, whatever you want to put it. And that turns out to be a sort of secret thing about the way cars are developed. Because sometimes when you get this incredible balance, like the Can-Am didn't have it, because the Can-Am had all power, and you had to work around that to try to maximize that. Whereas the 512M was just so balanced a car, and I miss it very much because it was, and of course it was a Ferrari. And there's nothing like going down the Lausanne Straight at over 200 miles an hour and seeing that Ferrari logo in the center of the wheel. You know, you figure if this isn't good, nothing's going to be good. But Dick was a hero to me, I'll tell you, and it's great to see you here today.
Great to be here. I remember Pedro saying when he first drove the 917, he said, Dick, it's like driving a movie screen. There's nothing in front of you, the car's all behind you, a movie screen, and the steering wheel is not connected to the projector. So your interpretation was probably correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You forgot to say driving over 200 miles an hour down Lausanne Straight at night in the rain with oil and dirt all over the windshield.
That was a tough race, the 1970 race.
Yeah.
That was another time when I realized I might get killed racing. And I went back to the little camper we had, and the camper, I was exhausted, and Ronnie Buchan was out there doing a great job for us. And the little trailer was kind of rocking back and forth, and I tried to get in, and the door was locked. And it turned out that it was Luigi Jr. Having a good time with a girlfriend that she found along the way. And finally I managed to get in, and they sort of, oh, nice to see you. Is the car still running? You know? And when I got into the cot finally, I closed my eyes, but all I could see was a hail of bullets, tracer bullets, because when you're going that fast, the raindrops are just like bullets. And I kept reaching out and trying to grab things to hold on to because I felt I was falling out of the cot, and the car was breaking down and everything looked so bad, and I swore to myself I would never go again to Le Mans without a family friend or close friend, because you really need that support in between your stints. And the stints were, I was out there and Buchan was supposed to come in one lap, and he passed the pits, and Steve McQueen was making his movie, and he was standing there, we were chatting, and he just spontaneously took off his raincoat and put it around my shoulders and said, "You need this more than I." I was very flattered by that.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Can I get one in?
Sure.
Sam, Tom Hill from the PA with Greg Ricks, and Greg couldn't be here today, but since we have 8 inches of snow here, could you give us one story from your ABC Wide World of Sports TV days?
I'll give you one from Le Mans. Phil Hill, of course, it was a 3-time winner and just a hero to all of us. And he was just retired when ABC decided to do Le Mans live, which was, of course, almost impossible technically, but they had these microphones and you held them right to your face, and you probably remember that.
I'm too young.
Right. Thanks a lot. So he, Jim McKay, who was ABC's main man in sports. And Phil was standing up in the sort of a podium-like thing, and about to go on the air. Well, the official scoring had a hiccup or two during the winter, the night, and no one was sure where anybody was. So Jim McKay, being the pro that he was, stitched together a pretty good, here we are, Le Mans, blah, blah, there's been a slight problem with the thing, but we're very confident that the scoring we're showing you is the way it is. And he turned to Phil and said, so what do you think? And Phil said, I think we have the foggiest idea what's going on.
Foggiest idea, yep.
Le Mans is a very special animal and it remains that way. There's just nothing like, I mean, Daytona is a wonderful race, but there's something about the difference between going from point A to down to Mulsanne and then turning right and going over to Arnage and coming back along the Porsche straights. I drove it in 66 when the White House turns were still there, and they were so dangerous. There were 4 or 5 brick stone houses, and you had to sort of take a blind left and a blind right, and then you could see the road ahead for the first time. And this was like 170 mile an hour stuff. And the second race I was in, this guy Wolf was killed on the first lap right there. He never got past those turns. So there.
Sounds risky. Were you ever offered rides, since I come from NASCAR, were you ever offered rides in NASCAR, and would you ever have driven the Daytona 500?
I don't think I could ever have driven the Daytona 500, but I did have technically a NASCAR ride at Riverside with road racing, and that was a wonderful lift. My car owner was Cotton Owens, and he said after I qualified 3rd or 4th, I think, he said, you know, if I'd known you was a real driver, I'd have brought my real car.
How's that for an answer? Anybody else out here?
Any other questions right now? Yes?
Sam, could you just touch upon that fabulous story of your first time driving in the Indy 500?
I'm sorry, I can't.
Touch on your first time driving in the Indy 500, please.
Oh, yeah. What a sequence of lucky events that was. I tried twice to qualify in previous years and hadn't been able to. And suddenly I had one of the best cars in the race. I believe my car was good enough that at least a half dozen drivers could have driven it to a victory. It was that close, but unfortunately I didn't have either the skill or the experience to take the kind of chances you have to take. It was just a little bit out of my range. But we qualified 7th, and it was really wonderful. It started up to 5th, but going down the back straight, right behind Mario. And this big green ball was on the top of his car, out of the rear wing. And it took me a second to realize it was the lights, the warning lights. And the heat was coming up so much it distorted the lights, and it was a very strange experience. But I set out to drive a long distance race, 500 miles, and that really did, I think that helped me. Lloyd Ruby came by about halfway along to put a lap on me, and he signaled, and I should tuck in behind him. And he showed me, we did some outside passes, which are very hairy business, but the line he took and the confidence he had sort of stuck with me, and I started to pick off guys. Peter Revson had told me, Sam, what you do is you're careful for the first 400 miles. The last 100, go for it, because you'll find the guys are tiring. This was an age when sprint car drivers still qualified, and they really didn't know anything about the sort of cars we were driving at that point. So I moved up from 10th to 9th to 8th to 7th to 6th to 5th. That's where I wound up, with the fourth place car right in front of me, Sammy Sessions. I just didn't quite get that far, but hell, I was happy to settle for fifth. It was a long day and a wonderful day.
Great, thank you, Sam, very much. Please continue enjoying the excellent food for about 10-15 minutes, and we do have a plan to do a photo op with Sam down on the track if you're up for it, and they can all drive on the track, down on the track, right? With the Sam Posey